When it comes to residential growth in Spruce Grove, we do lead the region, other than Edmonton, but the number of housing starts we have here has been leading the region for years. If you've ever followed Councillor Houston or former Mayor Houston, it's one of his big brags every single month when we see the housing starts. So Spruce Grove is a very attractive place, not only for new residents to move here, but for developers and builders to come out here. And just last year, we hit over 40,000 residents here in Spruce Grove. So one of the things we also did is we developed a new housing strategy to try and determine what the role of the municipality is when it comes to housing and how we work with developers, builders, and not-for-profit associations that are looking to provide different types of housing. Speaking of housing types, we have all sorts: single-family, duplex, townhome, row housing, secondary suites, apartment style. So whatever you're looking for or whatever new residents are looking for, you can find it here. And you can see how fast we are growing. We're in Easton right now, and this neighborhood didn't exist 4 years ago. And we've got new neighborhoods popping up in the next little while. We also have existing neighborhoods currently under construction, about 14 to 15 have some phase going. And we have places like Deer Park and Legacy Park that didn't see any sort of development for years, now starting up again. So it just tells you how attractive this city is for all sorts of residents looking for different types of housing. During our last term, Council spent 3 years with administration creating the Municipal Development Plan, or commonly known as the NDP. And this is a plan that helps set out the development and how the city is going to build over the next 20 to 30 years. And builders and developers and associations and Council and administration use this to figure out how we're going to build. Now, part of this was done when the EMRB was still in existence. So the Edmonton Metro Region Board was a group of 13 municipalities in the Edmonton region, and we had regulatory frameworks that were connected to the EMRB, including having to meet density targets, as well as having our ASPs, our area structure plans for new neighborhoods approved by the EMRB. That doesn't exist anymore. So it begs the question, are we beholden to what we developed for the EMRB? Now, the MDP is still that plan, it still exists, but I think we have to consider what densities look like for our city. Now, increasing density should make housing more affordable and should keep your taxes down. But when is density too much density? And I think that's what we can improve upon with our neighbors and neighborhoods to talk about what that looks like. The other thing too, often we find, is when people move into new neighborhoods, they don't have a sense of what the build-out's going to be like. And to be honest, sometimes council doesn't have this. We approve neighborhood plans often phase by phase, so we don't get that full picture. And it can create some difficulties down the road when you realize what you've approved in phase 2 is now going to affect phase 5. So we're working with the developers, and I think we can continue to improve upon this, is look at neighborhood structure plans and share those with people and put signage in the neighborhoods so that when you're in those neighborhoods and you're looking to buy, you have a sense of what the build out of the neighborhood is going to be. When we talk about residential growth, we look to what's next. And we do have a growth plan that shows how Spruce Grove is going to grow over the next 20 to 30 years. But we have grown very quickly, and some things have changed that I think we need to reconsider how we're going to grow Spruce Grove. We did annex land south of Highway 16A, but there's lots of costs involved to be able to develop residences south of 16A. So are there other possibilities? Should we be annexing other land that makes it a little easier for us to continue with residential growth? The other thing we should be considering is the infill discussion. Now, Spruce Grove is a while away from having the infill discussion happen in the here and now when developers and builders are coming to Spruce Grove to do infill construction. But I think when we when we have these conversations prior to, we can do it without a lot of the emotion and have clear heads when we're talking about what we would like to see for infill in places like our city center or some of our older neighborhoods that have been here 40, 50 years and have some of those 60s and 70s houses and big lots that are just right for infill. So I think for us, that's the next thing we have to consider.